G'day punters, welcome to another huge edition of All In. I'm joined by Lewis Willoughby, who looks like he might be in the casualty ward tonight. Louis, how are you, mate?
Yeah, it's got me. I thought I was built different. That's what I was telling people anyway, that it was just never going to catch up with me, but the dreaded coronavirus got me. So I'm off for a week. I'll be doing some broadcasts from home, but there was no chance I was missing the podcast. The only reason I missed the podcast is when I get on the beers. Coronavirus, I'm still here. If I'm out getting on the beers, you won't get me.
Not true. We actually caught you at Icebergs, mate. Probably one of our highest rating episodes. So it was outstanding. And obviously, mate, the spicy cough will duck and weave many of us, but it's got you. Speaking of those that have dodged the bullet, Dean Watling, how are you, mate?
Going well, Gannon. And just off the top, Louis, could I get you to pronounce Terang for me? Just give us a little pronunciation.
Well, so maybe it was because I had Rona that I just didn't even know I was pronouncing it wrong. But it was a bit of interest to your Sunday afternoon. There was only 9 other.
Talk me through it.
Some peanut on Twitter reckoned that I was saying Tarangi and not Terang. Even
That's
though
in New Zealand, isn't it? Tarangi?
Oh, mate. I don't think he was from Earth. This bloke, he was off his chops. But I love feedback. Don't get me wrong, but I think I know how to pronounce terrain just quietly.
And just quietly, speaking of feedback, Dino, we got a ripper of feedback on Saturday, and got one young Lewis Willoughby by surprise, and a quick text message come across, a bit of tear. I'm like, what's going on? Why is Louis so upset here? Gentleman's written in, said, you and Dino, top 3 Aussies of all time, is a Kiwi, and he's left Louis out. So Louis, someone cheer Louis up. We had to give Dino a Gus Gould inspirational chat, and maybe we need a pep talk for Louis. Maybe if Robbo can fire up and do one of those little chats.
I need something. I think I was 4th, maybe. I put myself down as 4th.
Well, it was on top. I think we had Bob Hawke on top. Risky business.
Gannon, Dino, Lewis, 4th. I'll take
top 4. Yeah, that's all right, mate. We'll play top 4. Righto, boys. Before we get on to the all-important, all-in coverage for Saturday, we're going to do a quick cover off of the weekend's action. Dino, start with you. Horse to follow, mate.
Yeah, quickly, Gannon, I want to give you a wrap. You tipped us into tonight's order. Over the 3,200 there at a big price. Props to you. That's an outstanding tip and one like a good horse. So
thanks, mate.
Well done. Horses to follow. Just a 1 for mine. It was a sick beat on the weekend. We're on the big odds in Willinga Beast, but that was outstanding for her to make up such big ground for mine. They didn't make up ground all day. That probably the month between runs was the sort of gave out the last 50 when Paris Dior ducked back to the inside. But I think they're both quality fillies and we can follow both as 3-year-olds. So that's my horse to follow. Louis, what do you got for us?
Yeah, ride of the week. There was a really good ride. Race number 2 at Alice Springs on Saturday. No, I'm kidding, of course. It was National Will. Of course it was Nash on Think It Over. To go to the outside fence on a horse with no heavy form, the first time a jockey had done that in the entire meeting, for it to be no less in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, it takes guts only the size of Nash. I don't reckon you'd find many others doing it apart from him. So well done to Nash. Just quickly on the race, though, let's say he doesn't go to that outside fence and Zaki wins by a good few lengths and, I don't know, he gets second and Mount Popper scrapes into third. Do we really think that the QE stuck up to what we expected from one of Australia's greatest races?
Probably not. Market expectation, I think the top 4 that we all had penned as the horses to fight it out all finished at the back of the field. There's probably a few things that influenced that, but yeah, definitely disappointing. Probably we were looking for a 5-horse go of the line, but up on pace was a suit of the day. And yeah, probably it was a strange old race, but the ride probably saved it from being a disaster, really.
Yeah, pen job for me, the whole race.
Interesting. Rightio. From one weekend to the next.
We've got a slaughter. Slaughter goes to all those lunatics out there.
True.
Yeah, most of them south of the border, God bless you. We love your work. We love your racing. Appears you don't like ours. Give yourselves an uppercut. It is what it is. We have had that much rain. We've had more rain than you guys could handle. No, that's probably not true. But we've had a lot of rain, and look, the meeting went off without a hitch. Yes, there was a couple of minutes delays. Yes, right. A lot has to go into getting that meeting run, and they've done a huge job to get that gone. So Give yourselves an uppercut, those who are bagging you, and Racing New South Wales, good job for getting the races run and done. Happy with that, boys?
Perfect.
Very.
And
Dino,
of course,
just a quick one. Yeah, Dino, just a quick one. Have you got your helicopters back from RNSW yet? I know they borrowed a few of them.
Turn it up. You must have been paying for the petrol. It's coming out of your wage.
Yeah,
that's right. My paycheck was a bit light this week.
Oh, boys, and just a quick one for the punters out there as well. This will be our last episode until we head to Brisbane for the Doomben 10,000 Carnival. So we'll be back that week, the Monday of the Doomben 10,000. So make sure you are subscribing. You'll get links and alerts every time we do jump on. So jump on, subscribe, and make sure you comment. Louis, over to you, mate.
That's right. Even the greatest of conveyances need a few freshens every now and then, but we'll be back. But before then, we've got one Saturday left to round out the Sydney Autumn Carnival. There's 2 Group 1 races on the day. Let's start with the first of them, and that is the all-aged stakes with the tab all-in market. There's equal favourites, Forbidden Love and Moanga, both at $4.50. In the Congos at $5, Tefane's at $8, and then it's Cascadian, Ellsberg and Overpass at 11s, and Nimmerley, if it were to back up, is a $15 chance. Just quickly with this all-age stakes in terms of the profile that you're kind of looking for. Colding won this last year and came through a 10th in the Group 1 George Ryder. Prior to that, the last 5 years, so from 2020 all the way back to 2016, all the runners ran either 5th or better in a Group 1 TJ Smith. Most of these horses in the last 6 years, well, all of them, have been either 4th or 5th up into their preparations. And there's 3 colts that have gone around and won, a filly, a mare, and a gelding as well. Let's start with you, Dino, for the all-age stakes.
Yeah, it's an interesting profile, like you mentioned. The TJ is normally the A form to come to this, but we've only got the 2 horses sort of in the market in Shelby 66 and Overpass, and you probably wouldn't say that's the A form coming out of the TJ. So interesting this year, and I think we will see a different form line. There's probably 3 horses I want to identify. Forbidden Love goes back to the 1,400 metres. I think we probably finally figured out that that 1,600 metre high pressure race just sees her out, probably 1,500 metres her ceiling. So back to the 1,400 metres. I like that profile for her. She's going, like we know, outstanding this prep. Moanga had that little setback prior to racing in Sydney. It comes through the futurity. It was his last start in Melbourne. He was enormous there from a long way back, beating Tefane. So it's a key form line for this. And the other one I want to mention is Cascadian. Comes through the Doncaster. Gave away the weight there. But he was super. His last 600 down the outside was as good as any, probably the best of the race for mine. Gets in much better against these with the weights. So for 3, those 3 definitely want to identify an early. Cascadian has to be the value around $12. So early play, I'll definitely be leaning the way of Cascadian. Gannon?
Nice to be looking over my shoulder once again, Dino. Cascadian for me would be the horse that I would be keen to back if I got a push, maybe a J-Mac or something jumping on board. Is there any booking, any rider engagements there? Were you aware of?
I know Tommy's not. I think he's on Moanga. J-Mac hasn't got a ride. So looking at the page, yeah, I'd imagine he's on Cascadian sticks.
Yeah, I was looking through and I sort of put 2 and 2 together and I thought J-Mac might be on Cascadian. So for mine, that'll be a bet there. I didn't mind Overpass, but I know that it's also accepted for another race. So I can't be betting in that scenario. So for mine, very happy to play Cascadian each way, the $11 and $3.50 the place. Louis?
Well, we're in massive trouble because I like Cascadian as well. I mean, it's a bit of a, when you look at the previous winners in the past, 6 or so years, it's not really a guide that you go to here, Cascadian. It was racing at 2,000 metres only a few starts ago, and then it was back to a mile. And then I take your point with those good late sectionals in the Doncaster, but gee, that's just the story of Cascadian's life, isn't it? Get back, and if you'd never heard of the horse before, you'd watch a few replays of it and go, well, this thing's bound to win any second. It's flying home all starts. It's just what it does. So I'm hoping against what is not the strongest all-age stakes field you've ever seen. This is a proven horse back to weight for age. And, yeah, I think Cascadian $11 as well. I mean, Tefane won this two years ago, so it's back again. It can't be counted out. And, gee, if they backed up Nimmerley, who I thought was really good. I mean, an SP profile for Nimmerley won't be great because it was big odds on the weekend, but it was a good win. And again, might just find another winnable race at the top level. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, Cascadian, unfortunately for you two, is on top for me as well at $11.
Load up, punters.
That's it. Load up or lay it, either way. Champagne Stakes is the second of the Group 1s, and all the story here, and rightly so, is about Fireburn. I think it's trying to be the first 2-year-old to do a Triple Crown in, 20 or something years, could even be 30. I was trying to read on it today. It's a long time, whatever it is. It's a very long time. And unfortunately, not a whole lot have come to take her on. She's Extreme's back for another roll of the dice. It's the $4.50 second elect. Fireburn's at $1.50 with the tab. Then you've got Let's Roll the Dice at $8 with Williamsburg at $8. Count the Headlights $15. Wealthy Investor $101 and Skiffios is $201. Nominations have been extended and further runners may be added. But at this stage, that's kind of what we're working off. Looking at the Champagne Stakes mould, it's no surprise to anyone that most of these runners come through the Golden Slipper and the Sires. The only exception to that in the past 6 years is Prized Icon back in 2016, who was second in a Lonhro Plate, ran third in a Black Opal, went to a Schwepp Essence and ran second, and then won a listed Fernhill coming into this race, which is what Williamsburg did on the weekend. So, look, Williamsburg is, at this stage, you wouldn't think anywhere near Fireburn, but if you are looking for the moulds of horses to come into this race and run well, maybe you cannot, in case anything crazy goes wrong, count out Williamsburg, even though it's coming through a lesser form line. Let's go back to you, Gannon. How do you see this race playing out?
Real simple one here, Louis. $1.50, Fireburn is too short. I sent you boys a text message just after Williamsburg got over the line and said take some of the $12. I think it'll start second favourite. I can't possibly see She's Extreme turning the tables on Fireburn. So if that being the case, I don't see how it's going to start second favourite. I see Williamsburg's different form line for mine to start second favourite. So even the $8 punters, just take a little bit of that. It's not a load up job or anything like that. I think that they will take a slight risk with Fireburn. It's going to dry out. The conditions aren't too bad this week, and the track's been pretty warm today, 28 degrees in Sydney. If the track dries out and we get back to sort of soft 5, it's going to be slightly different conditions and may not get everything as it has its past 2 starts. So for mine, I'm happy to have a play on Williamsburg still, and I'd probably bet Williamsburg all the way down to, I'd say, about $6. Not guaranteed to start. That's why we're not loading up now, but $8 at the moment. Now, Louis, just quickly, Piero, 2012, Triple Crown, surely.
I'll jump in.
Yeah,
I'll jump in.
Yeah.
Piero?
So, incorrect. Sorry, should have made that clearer. 2-year-old
Philly.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, my bad. Dino.
You're a walking excite. Nothing gets past you, mate.
Yeah. What do they do here? There's probably no value for mine in the market. I've been a good fan of Fireburn. I think a lot of people probably knocking and saying, if we get back to a dry track, they might turn the tables. But with a horse with a turn of foot, I just think get on top of the ground, it's going to have an even better turn of foot for mine. I think the only way, Gannon, and you mentioned it, if they do beat her here is the smaller field. Potentially sit and sprint, which she has done, but this is probably the smallest field she's going to get. And if She's Extreme maybe kicks away on this dry track, I think that's the only way they beat her. But if she gets clear air and you just see that little glint in her win so far where she spots the leader and she just knuckles down, extends out, pins the ears and says, I'm going to win this race. And we've seen that in her last 2 starts. She does that, obviously. I don't think she can be beat here. And it'd be a great story for the autumn. It's been full of stories to see a Triple Crown winner, first in 30 or 20 years for a filly, and Piero's the last colt to obviously do it. But it'd be outstanding. But for mine, betting wise, I'm just going to sit back and get some splinters.
If she improves on a good track, she'll win with 10.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we were seeing if the sort of the opinion there or the argument there is maybe the other horses around her improve back on a dry track with their sort of runs and their turn of foots, and that's when they catch up on her. But for mine, with a horse with a turn of foot like that, if you're doing it in the wet, unless you jar up or don't handle a dry track, which we're not going to get a bone dry track, I just think they win by further. Their turn of foot becomes even more devastating. So it's more so if the field does catch up to them and handle the dryer better for themselves, which there's a couple they can do. Let's Roll the Dice was good last start, closing from a long way, and She's Extreme going to be up on pace. That's the advantage it has. But for mine, I don't think they beat her at all.
I also just want to mention how I know that we know, and everyone does know, Fireburn is very good, but even still, I think that Fireburn isn't being talked about enough. I mean, look at some of the horses that have won a slipper and a size in the past and then haven't been able to do a Triple Crown. Look at the last one to do it, Piero. Like, some of these are absolute champions of the sport in total, and they haven't even been able to win a Triple Crown. She's $1.50 to do it. Are we like? I don't know. Do you also get that feeling that she's just not being paraded enough here?
Yeah, I think it's the Portelli factor, to be honest. Not that he's not a great trainer or anything like that, but if it was a Waller or a Waterhouse, he's carrying on everywhere, right?
Possibly because she's a filly as well. I think we get really excited about the stallion prospects, stud 50 million, whatever they're going to be, where filly, possibly the stallion advertisement or the expectation or et cetera, is probably not that high. And maybe because it's been a lackluster year, she's probably been the best of a, or she's obviously up to the mark of past winners and on ratings and et cetera, but her rivals probably haven't been up to it in the competitive sense. But yeah, probably Louis, I agree. Like, if it was Farnan or a couple of the other horses, they'd be probably celebrated, and interviews, stories, et cetera, would be a lot larger. But
yeah, you're spot on there, Dino. It'd be $100 million up for grabs and all this kind of headlines. So yeah, nailed it, mate.
Interesting. Right, they're the two big Group 1s of the afternoon. Still some great racing on the card nonetheless. We're going to touch on two runners here who are favourites in their respective races. Just going to get a quick yes or no. Is it too short or is it a good bet? Let's start with the Frank Packer Plate and Straight Aaron, who is a $2.30 chance on the tab trade all in. The next in the betting is Character, and it's all the way out at $8. Dino.
Yep, wins.
Wins without
Gannon?
me. He can win without me. Yeah, win without me.
They often do, don't they?
Yeah, most of them do.
Rightio. The next one, very short and sweet. The James HB Carr Stakes, and back on the top of the betting is Espiona, $2 even money. Comrade Rose is the next in the trade at $6, and Larkspur runs at $8. Gannon.
Pass.
Dean?
I'll go back. Dry Track wins by 10.
Wow.
Wow.
I tell you what, though,
Straight
Straight Aaron, if we go back to that, I was a bit short and sharp there, but Straight Aaron's win was outstanding, and it came from the back. It's probably one of the only horses from memory that it came over the top. So I understand Dino's confidence, but Espiona winning by 10?
Oh, maybe 5. Don't quote me. This is recorded.
Maybe 9.
9.5. There you go. So take the double punters. Dino's going to tip in. I'm just not keen on taking short prices in all the markets. Dino's, that's about $5 for the double there, the Dino double. Surely we can give DS or Munsey a text and get him to do a Dean Watling double for an all-in market. Louis, can you sort that out?
Mate, if they made a golf market for you, anything's possible, isn't it? All right, very good. True. Very good, fellas. Very good. There's a look at our all-in plays for this Saturday. It is the last Saturday of the Sydney Autumn Carnival, so we're keen to get around it, and hopefully we found a few winners as well.
Louis, before you wrap up, mate, we've got one in the tab, Hallmark Stakes. We'd love to cover as well if you don't mind. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I didn't see a rundown.
The spicy cost got you again.
Rightio,
let me take over from the top. Big Parade, $3 over past 5. Gravina 7s, Generation 9s, Kementari 9s. Maltal 9s, Quantico 9s. Louis, how'd I go?
Yeah, spot on. Spot on. Can I go first in my tips then?
Absolutely. Lewis Willoughby, over to you.
No idea in this race. Dino?
Used to in shambles. Short and sweet, Big Parade, huge in the galaxy, carrying top weight. If it wasn't for the party boy spoiling our party, he wins that race. Up on pace, beautiful profile. Soft, wet, whatever you need, it's going to win, and it probably wins the Doom 10,000 too. So big parade for mine.
Love it, Dino. Once again, obviously compared notes before the show. This is your tip. You can have this one, but I'll be with you. Big parade for mine.
Love it.
Yeah, I can't see anything down the page. Maybe I'll throw in, just to go something different, I'll throw in Kementari.
Nothing from Melbourne, Louis, that's come up and run last down there and come up for the Arvo.
I don't mind Generation, but I wouldn't be able to back it at $9, I don't think. Marine 1, interesting runner.
Shakira is one of yours. You can have it.
No, it definitely is not. It is definitely not. Definitely not one of mine. No, good race, though. It is a good race, and it's a better betting market than some of the others we've seen. $3 the field at this stage out to 5s, 7s and 9s is a good opportunity to get involved.
Righto, boys, wrap it up. Best all in play of the week. We'll start with you, Lewis Willoughby. Something for the punters.
Well, it can't be Fireburn because that's too short. So I'll stick with Cascade. I don't want to steal you guys' thunder, but I'll go with Cascadian. And if we need to do something different, if they back up Nimmerley.
Beauty. Dino?
I'll go Hallmark Stakes, 1,200 metres, big parade, $3. Best all-in play of the week, Gannon.
Outstanding. Well, doesn't leave me with much, just to change it up. Back in both punters. Boys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you as always. Anything in close, Dino?
Stick to tipping, not poetry. Just then, Gannon, please.
Lewis, mate, all the best with your recovery, mate. Obviously, they won't see you at Roosters training, so we'll probably get beaten this weekend, mate. But hope you rest up well. And fellas, if you do miss Louis' dulcet tones, Sky Racing 2, he'll be working away
this week. Yeah, this week, toiling away on the Blue Channel from home. See you both in Brisbane for the Brisbane Carnival. Bring on the warmer weather.
Look forward to it. Dubin 10,000. See you, boys.
See ya.